It just dropped out. What did you say again?
We're good. Hang on. Hey, happy Friday, people.
Good morning, everybody.
How you doing, Mr. A.A. Ron?
Doing way good, man. Doing way good. Ready to get the day rolling?
Yes, sir. Get the weekend rolling.
That's right.
Yeah, you got an open house tomorrow, man.
I do.
Talk about it.
Fantastic townhome down in the Independence area. It's just west of the freeway off in Bluffdale.
It is a cool house.
Yeah, she upgraded the hell out of it, dude.
Yeah, she did.
The nicest countertops, all the technology, all the master switches.
Very smart house.
On demand, hot water. She's got.
Is she leaving the fridge?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you about this fridge.
Well, no, it's the entire appliance package.
So she totally upgraded the appliance package. I don't know what it is, but it actually, I was messing around with it because if you want, like, say, a bowl of soup or a cup of tea, it has a function on the fridge where you hit a button and it heats the water up and you don't have to nuke it or anything.
You don't need a pot on the
and it was hot.
Anymore. Oh, yeah.
Like burn your mouth hot.
Yeah, it's a barely 2-year-old, all of it. The whole place is just, it's incredible. So it's great value, $495. It's just over 2,500 square feet. 3
Great
bedroom.
layout, unfinished basement.
Right.
So
room to grow, and it's an amazing little area. Everybody I know that lives there, our friend Lindsay, she's moved in the neighborhood. She's bought and she's holding on to them, renting them, and just basically moving around and upgrading as she's going. But
smart.
She loves the area.
Tax breaks.
Yep.
So that's what Aaron's doing tomorrow from 11 to 2.
Yeah, anybody who wants to come out and see, or even looking at an investment property, come take a visit.
One.
Yeah, very good one.
Okay. Well, hey, people. Welcome to Beards on the Street. I'm Parry.
This is Aaron.
That's Aaron, and that guy right there in the middle happens to be my youngest son.
Marketing extraordinaire.
Bubba dude. Yeah.
We got the dad name. Bubba. It's funny. I call my boy Bubba.
Yeah, Jaiden was always Bubba growing up.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Brady
was B-Rad, or what was Brady? Beef. Yeah, Brady was beef stick. CJ was Siebers. Right? Jessica was Sis.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Nanners.
And Savannah was Nanners.
That's what we call Brandon's and Savannah's Nanners.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'm really, really excited to have my kid on. Going to talk about some really fun, neat stuff that
he is
that
just
I'm doing
blowing up your social media, dude.
He is blowing me up.
Well, and the fun thing, I guess the big point about why bringing him on is he does this for all kinds of different businesses. But if you're one of our real estate friends watching, there's nothing wrong with coming after one of our guys that's doing a lot of work for us.
That's honestly,
what we're trying to do.
Yeah, honestly, Aaron, that's the whole reason I have him on here. Is I guarantee people have started to see the uptick in the quality and just everything that has to do with my whole social media, and it's all because of my kid right here. He's got a business called Why We Dream. Let me throw that up on there, and he started this business because he owned a different business that he did all the marketing on, and that business was cranking. It was based around my grandson, and yeah, and that's where Jaiden basically
cut his teeth in marketing.
Yeah, Jaiden, tell us a little bit about your dream here and why we dream.
Yeah, so just like you said, I learned my marketing really just the School of Hard Knocks. Like I'm not classically trained. I didn't go to any university or have a degree in marketing. It was really out of a necessity. And
he went to the same college that I did.
which is what no called.
The school of hard knocks.
Yeah, hard knocks. Real learning, practical application.
Yep, exactly. And pretty much it was just out of a necessity. Like, me and my wife had a goal to start a business after our son who passed away. And in order to make that goal a reality, we had to learn how to reach other people, right? And the biggest thing I learned through 5 years of doing that is that people don't get on social media to be sold to, right? So many businesses and individuals think, oh, marketing means I need to go and pitch a product, or I need to constantly try to get people to go and buy something or go and do something, right? The reason you get on social media is one of two things: to be entertained, right?
Yep.
Or to be educated. So if you provide one of those two things, whether you're entertaining or you're educating, that's why people get on there. And through that experience, we've partnered with tons of different businesses, and you can even throw up those graphics.
All right, which one do you want, Bubba?
You can go to the first one. So
right here?
So we started doing the marketing for my dad, Parry Dean. So, and it's only been 3 weeks, and we've already seen an uptick of 400%.
Oh my gosh!
Results.
Incredible.
Tell me that's not cool.
So he has 4 likes now.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
He's way more loved with that.
But that's the crazy thing. It's like within just a matter of weeks, we're already seeing exponential numbers, right? So you can see 360% in engagement and then 2.4% increase in total followers. So the thing about marketing is it's a compounding effect, right? So the more you do it, the previous content compounds and gets you more views on the next content, right? So that's the thing. A lot of people will start, they're real excited at first, and then the excitement wears off, and then they stop doing it. And they kind of get in this cycle, right, where they try it and then they stop doing it. They try it and then they stop doing it. Why are you guys smiling?
Because you didn't hear it?
Because I had a gurgle in my belly.
He had a rubbler go on.
And Aaron looked at me. Anyways, so
yeah,
the key here is what I'm hearing, Jaiden, is that the services that you provide help people so much because it's you forget about it. That's what I love about me is we're all so freaking busy with our lives that you try to do it all by yourself, and it's nearly impossible because there's just so much, and there's so much you need to do and watch, and the back area and the numbers and on and on and on and on. So hiring somebody like you, it's going to cost money, but ultimately, in the real estate business for us, literally one deal a month, and I'm paying for all my social media, which is going to bring me deal after deal after deal.
Mm-hmm. What I think is actually pretty fun watching, just as because I'm right here with you, but I'm watching it happen. And Jaiden, it's how incredibly you guys have been able to capture. He's your dad, so you know him, but the way you're presenting him, the way you're putting out his information, and the way you're creating the story around him. It's his story, his story, who he is, his message, how he thinks, believes, and cares about his clients. You're doing an amazing job, man.
He is. He just basically sits down and Jaiden, what are the three? You've got basically the hook, and then the main story, and then the ask or the
call to action.
The call to action.
Yep. So that's how we structure all of it, and that's the whole goal, right? Because if you ask someone what is your unfair advantage in your industry, it's your story, right? Because there's, I don't know how many realtors in the state of Utah, but probably thousands, right?
Oh yeah, 10,000. Is it more?
Or 18? Yeah,
18,000.
Right, and so it's like, how do you stand out from the other individuals? It's you, right? So
I was going to say, because I'm Parry Dean, that's how I stand out.
Yeah, exactly, because you have a story that no one else has, right? And that's what people want to follow anyways. So, and going back to what you were saying, so the way we structure our reels is you have a hook. So within the first 3 to 5 seconds, you really need to capture someone that's just brain scrolling, mindless scrolling. You want to be able to have them stop. Then you need a good story, right? So you try to tailor your reels that they actually tell a story. They take them through a process.
And quickly.
And quickly. And then the last thing is offers. So you want to make sure that you want to tell them what to do next, whether that's to follow you, whether that's to like it, whether that's to leave a comment. Because people, if you don't do that, they'll maybe like your video, but then they just keep scrolling, right? Because you didn't tell them what to do.
Right, because there's no call to action.
And on to the next one, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then if you want to go back to those other slides, I can show you. So, as far as our marketing, we mainly do social media marketing, so organic, and then we produce podcasts. So, this client right here is actually a golf course that we started doing their marketing just a month ago, and they are up
19,000%
in accounts reached.
Oh my gosh!
5,000 in accounts engaged, and they've grown 100%,
followers,
95% on followers. So they've doubled their following. And we were just talking to them yesterday, and they have a board and everything, and their minds are just blown because they've worked with probably 5 other marketing companies, and their numbers stayed almost exactly the same with all of the marketing companies. And literally, it was like we came in, we started doing reels, we did a huge giveaway, like we put a lot of plans into action for them, and they're now looking to expand their package. They now want to do a golf podcast. Like, they see the benefit and the tangible results. Like on Black Friday, they had their biggest day of sales in their pro shop ever.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's really, really cool. So,
hey, that's my kid.
So those are the things we do, right? We produce podcasts, and then we do just digital marketing for companies or a lot of individuals that just want to build their own brand.
So, guys, if let me give a little bit of insight from my end as a client. Jaiden shows up with his team. They have all the gear, all the equipment. He's got a guide or a number of different questions that he asks you, and they basically get all the raw footage. They take all that raw footage back. They edit all the raw footage and add in all the cool stuff that you're seeing out there with text and music and just all of that, and then they literally post for you whatever the package is that you've got from them. They post X number of times, and then on top of that, like I said, in the back area that nobody sees, they're watching it like a hawk, and they're paying attention to what works and what doesn't work. I mean, it's pretty involved. I don't want to, it's I can't tell you enough how the money you spend to have this service done saves you so much money. And what it's done is it's allowed me, it's freed up my time of doing all that so that I can do what I'm good at, which is sell real estate, not market.
Yeah, right.
So really, really cool. If anybody out there wants to reach out to Jaiden and have a meeting with him to see if it makes sense, hit me up. You can direct message me or Jaiden at Why We Dream. And we'll get you set up with him for sure. Because not only is he my kid, and I freaking love the heck out of him, I'm so proud of him. I'll tell you, Aaron, he's this kid right here, one of my biggest heroes in my life. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
I freaking love this kid.
I want to, Jaiden, I want to hear your favorite worst story about Mr. Parry Dean.
Oh boy!
Because the people watching, we all know and love this guy. So I want to be good to hear one of your stories.
You mind your mouth when you're talking about me.
Yeah, exactly. Not only my dad now, he's a client, so I have to be careful.
That's right. No, I don't care. This kid's used to me. Trust me.
No, and thanks for that, Dad. Yeah, it's cool to see the evolution, right? Because if you look at me, 6 years ago, it's a totally different guy, right? Like I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do when I grew up. right? And it's really cool to see that I've really come into something that I not only love, but something that I am good at.
Yeah.
Right? That's everyone's goal. So as far as a story, though, I mean, where do I begin?
What, you got too many?
I don't know. I really, we just filmed a round of content for my dad, and I loved the cabin story of our cabin catching on fire. And Dad's
I've heard this one.
cabin. There's other stories that we talked about while we were there about, how we got almost beat up on the street one time. And,
I didn't almost get beat up. They got beat up.
Yeah, they got beat up. And even to him, here's just a funny story. I remember we had a big exercise ball in our backyard, and they're out back, and he has a baseball bat, and he says, "Hey, throw that exercise ball at me." And so we toss the exercise ball at him, and he swings his bat, and it hits the exercise ball and just bounces right back and hits him in the face.
Oh, it did. Smack me. Almost knocked me out. I almost knocked myself out.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'll never live that down with these
One
kids.
of those, bam!
Oh, it was. It's like one of those things where you don't know what the hell's going on, but you know it hurts.
But
Oh, my gosh.
Memories I've just been thinking about lately is since we talked about the cabin, just building the cabin was a crazy experience in itself. My dad's
3 years.
Yeah, my dad's not in construction. He's not, he doesn't know a blueprint from anything else, I don't think, right? And so, but we built that cabin, and how many square feet? 12,000 square feet.
Yeah, it was 12,000 square feet, had 6 garage bays.
Wow.
4 down lower, 2 upper, had a mother-in-law apartment above the garage. The garage was attached, but by just a hallway, and it was all on its own and had a real lower section. Man, this cabin was, I poured my heart and soul into that thing for 3 years, Had a custom spiral staircase that was made out of logs. The treads were made out of logs that I had a guy specifically come up. So picture a tree that if you and I grabbed our arms around, we couldn't get around this tree. That's how big this tree was, right in the middle. And then a guy came in and chainsawed out and put the treads in the tree. It was these treads going up, and then all the railing, and it had a big balcony that went clear across the whole entire cabin from upstairs. And all the railing was metal railing that looked like twigs.
Wow.
And then in that log where the staircase was, I had another guy come up, and he actually sawed into the log a mama and a couple baby bears that were actually part of that log.
Wow.
So, I mean, that just tells you one of the things. I mean, the flooring, we did a tile wood flooring, and the wood was all the base and all the casings was reclaimed trestle wood from off the Great Salt Lake that had been, like, it had salt. It was almost petrified, this wood. It was so hard. I can't tell you how many saw blades we went through cutting this wood, and I mean, the salt would be in the air. You could taste it when you were cutting it
Wow.
It was kind of cool there. And I mean, the flooring, we had these tile and wood, and then I bought Indian head nickels, and everywhere there was an intersection was an embedded Indian head nickel. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
This next season, let's drive up there and see if we can get in.
See if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hearthstones alone, I bought these rocks from southern Utah, these slabs of rock. So picture a rock that is basically a 3 foot by 3 foot rock, or 2 foot by 3 foot, that's 20 feet long or 30 feet long. So they brought up this hearthstone on one truck. It was so heavy we had to have a crane come up, a big huge crane, and the crane craned this rock basically in the opening of the window, and these guys put all these metal pipes on the floor, and we had actually put all the joists in preparation for knowing that this hearthstone was coming. All of the floor joists were on like 4-inch centers or 6-inch centers.
Carry all the weight. To
carry the weight, and then they put it on these metal bars and just basically worked it across and put it in place and set it down. They jacked it up, pulled out all the things, and set it down.
Wow.
Tell me that's not cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, what else? What else do you remember about it?
I mean, I have one story. So the cabin was, I don't know, would you say it was remote? I would say. I mean,
It was up in Causey Estates, so if you know where Causey Dam is, you go all the way down to the bottom of Causey Dam, and then there's a gate, and that goes up in, and there's like 100 and something different properties up there.
Wow.
but they don't plow the roads to get up to the cabin, and so you had to snowmobile,
in the winter.
During the winter, you had to snowmobile pretty much from the base up to your cabin, right? But we would go up there and spend a week or so, or a weekend, and so we'd have to bring food, and we'd have to bring, just all of our stuff. So my dad ended up buying, it was like a toboggan sled that would hook onto the snowmobiles. And so we pack all of our food, clothes, suitcases, everything on this toboggan, right? And he's like, hey, right on the back of it and just make sure nothing falls off. So I'm standing on the back of this toboggan holding on, and we're ripping up this hill right up to the cabin. And then it started going downhill, and we're cruising. My dad, if you know anything about him, he needs speed, right? So
Right.
we're cruising down the hill, and we hit a big bump, and I bump up, and I look down, and I'm no longer attached to the snowmobile. And the piece that hooked onto the snowmobile had popped up, and I'm like, whoa! And then it goes back down and just digs into the snow and just pretty much catapults me over the toboggan.
And all the suitcases and all the food.
Yeah, I'm on the snow, and there's just food around me, there's suitcases. And I looked up, and my dad just keeps going.
I get up there. Oh, oops. I got a story about.
Like, what happened? So,
I got a story I got to tell about Jaiden since we're on the cabin. So, none of the workers, like the painters and all those guys, none of them had the equipment to get up to the cabin during the wintertime. And so I had chains on my truck, and I would drive them up there, and then I'd have to take them back down to the gate. So one day we'd finished working up, and I think it was the painters. I had them all in my truck, and Jaiden, we kind of had a thing. Jaiden used to love to sleigh ride down the hill because, he could go for forever. So I'm in front of him. He's on his sled by himself coming down the hill, and I'm taking these guys to the gate, which is probably what, Jaiden, 3 miles, 4 miles?
yeah, at least.
So anyways, as I got probably a couple miles ahead of Jaiden, I saw a big moose. And it was down right just off the road.
Or he's going to be sledding on through.
And I'm just like, what do I do? Now, I should have just stopped and waited for him. But in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, I'm just going to haul butt down, drop these guys, and I'm going to come right back up. So I do. I go down, I drop the kids, and I'm worried about Jaiden. And I'm coming up, and as I'm coming up the hill, I see Jaiden walking down the road, and he's crying, and he's got his sled behind him. And I talked to him, dude. He's sledding down this hill, and this moose came right up to him and was blowing snot and snorting and pawing the ground and walking all the way around Jaiden. And Jaiden's just sitting there on the sled, just like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
And could have.
Could have.
Yeah.
And this moose just basically stomped all around him and blew snot on him and then walked off. And Jaiden was walking down the road.
Yeah. We'd both be crying over that one.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I remember I was sitting there, and I saw it as well, but then it came up right up to me, and it was probably only like 6 feet from me, and it kept kicking the snow back with its hoof, just kept stomping it, and then it would put its antlers in the snow and would flick the snow at me.
Yeah, this was a big moose.
Oh, my gosh. Bull.
So, yeah,
A bull
and I think
moose.
what scared it away was when you turned around and it heard the car coming back this way.
Like I was hauling ass to get back up to Jaiden.
Wow. Dude.
Like I was motoring it.
Oh, my gosh, dude. Holy cow.
So
Wow.
yeah, lots of good memories at the cabin.
Yeah, we had some fun parties. Tell one quick memory about the parties we had up there.
I mean, my dad knows how to throw a party. He's the host of all hosts. And I mean, like he said, there was a gate at the bottom, so I usually was manning the gate, letting everyone in and into the party. But yeah, I think I remember Halloween.
Not what they had in mind when they built a community with a gate.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was super stoked about it, but no, having a Halloween party up there, I remember that was super cool. But just having the live band in the cabin was really awesome. It was almost built. It was almost built to have a live band.
Yeah, I did. So picture this, Aaron. It's a huge great room. So the ceilings are 30 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
And it was this big bank. And so the whole entire shell of this was hand-peeled logs.
Wow.
And the smallest log was probably 20 inches in diameter. So, I mean, these were big, gnarly logs. And it had these big windows. And we would set the band up in the grate area. And then everybody looked right into the kitchen. And then I had a huge covered patio on the backside. And it was perfect. I mean, I threw parties up there. There was probably 250 people.
The one story, I wasn't part of any of this, but the story that kind of rings to me is Steve.
Yeah.
When he had to go do his appraisal, and it's also snowed in, and to get finance clicked over, construct a permanent financing on it.
Had to do a sign off.
Had to get an appraisal, so
That's how I met Steve.
He hired someone to come in and grade the road, like to get access so an appraiser could get there, and because it's not your full year access, right?
No.
Well, then post appraisal, he got in trouble. He had to hire somebody to bring back the snow out of the road.
Hey, you had to do what you had to
You
do.
literally were not considering any expense from the log construction, the hearth that I'm hearing, the size.
Oh, it was
Wow.
It was a really, really, really cool cabin.
Wow.
Yeah,
Way
Nito
cool.
Frito. Yeah, I mean, it was great at that period of my life. I'm glad I don't have it now for upkeep and just all that. But I'm pretty proud that that's something I accomplished in my life. I mean, that's
cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on, guys.
You betcha. Thank you, Bubba. Appreciate
Good stuff,
it. And
Jaiden.
again, Why We Dream. If you want to reach out and chit chat with Jaiden about hiring him, give me a shout and we'll get her done. Love you, kid.
See you, man.
Okay, love you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All righty, dude. So let's chat really quick about what's going on with rates.
Dude, it's amazing. So almost a general consensus, if you're watching any social media, any news, anything that's going on, they're talking about what's coming this next year. Rates obviously got to an all-time high. They peaked out at just over 8% at one point, and now we're seeing FHA rates in the early sixes.
Yeah,
which is incredible. And guys, the big thing that Dean and I have been talking about, and if you are you paying any attention to anybody doing real estate or anybody talking about real estate, is the pent up demand.
It's coming.
Yeah, there are so many people over the last 3 or 4 years that
Do you feel it, dude?
Oh yeah. The activity. I mean, it's starting to really, really engage. But the big thing is over the last several years, when we had the major run up in our market, where we saw these huge, massive gains in appreciation and value, there was all this talk of when you make an offer, there were 30 plus offers. Appraisal contingencies being waived, which means basically it doesn't matter if it appraises whatever the overage is, we'll pay the difference. Some
Out
people
of
are
pocket.
You and I sold. we helped a seller sell a home in Eagle Mountain.
Yeah.
Made $150,000 over, and this wasn't even in the peak. $150,000 over appraised value.
Yep.
And they knew it, and they were okay with it, and they moved forward. That's the market we're in.
That's the market that's coming.
That's the market that's coming. And the interesting thing is people. There's a whole bunch of people when you're shopping with a budget, when you're shopping with, being conscious of what your payment is, and there were a lot of people that bought homes that they're like, We don't care. It has 3 bedrooms. I don't care that it's not in the city I want to live in. I don't care that it's, it doesn't have a garage or whatever. You had these non-negotiables that no longer mattered, and all you did was got the home you could win the bid on.
Exactly.
And a lot of those
and
people,
it was really frustrating for a lot of clients that,
right?
Because I mean, we can only write an offer as strong as what they can afford,
right?
And so, there's only so much that we can do to try to win that. And I mean, money talks. Right. And if somebody outbid you and brought more money to the table, then you were SOL.
Well, these same people have been sitting in homes that they don't really love, but they've got these 2 and 3% rates, and they're just kind of sitting, holding. How do we ever move? Because you're going to double or triple your rate. Man,
I'm predicting that come second quarter of next year, I think it's going to be a crazy market.
Guys, if you've been sitting watching, so if you're the person who couldn't quite make it happen because you didn't have that extra cash to overpay, or you got beat out 10 times, 15, 20 times like a lot of people I know did, you guys, now's the time, because we're able to, there are some great values and opportunities. We're able to structure some financing where, we can even still...
Financing, they're throwing a lot out there.
Right. And
sellers are willing to contribute.
If you're hoping to get a deal, if you're hoping to be able to find a home that you know and you'll love, or transition out of a house that you bought that you didn't love, you have the equity, you have the ability. Let's help you make that move, get you into something you like.
But don't wait.
Right, because what they're talking about is...
Or you're going to be right back into the same mess.
They're talking about rates typically come down the same way they went up, okay? Over the last several years, there's been 6 or 8 incremental major shifts up in rate. Well,
yeah, every time the Feds met, they were raising it. Every single time.
And now they're coming down. And
now every time,
they're talking 6 drops over the next year. And as that happens, more and more of that pent-up buyer demand, seller demand that didn't make that transition is going to come to the market, and the deals won't be there. We're going to see another run-up of the prices. We're going to see multiple offers again.
I agree.
So big predictions that January, we're going to see the biggest January.
So seriously, guys, if you're considering buying or selling real estate, do not wait.
And guys, if this even just spurs on curiosity, reach out to us. Yeah. Let us talk about your situation. Let's build a plan. So, I don't know, if rates do come down another half point, we strike.
Well, and the bottom line is...
maybe we get ahead of it, right?
Maybe you're a seller and you're going, well, hell, if that's the case, then I want to wait and when the market's crazy. But all I can say to you is...
Where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go?
Right. We got to create a plan. Let's get ahead of it. Let's help you guys make some good moves. You guys, this next year is... it's poised to be one of the biggest biggest appreciation years, better than 22.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't fathom, because we haven't seen the drops. We haven't seen prices come down the way people think they should have.
Not at all.
No,
a little bit, and
situationally, we see some stuff. But
from my experience, where I saw the biggest in drops was in new construction, because they were so overinflated.
You're right, and there's so much. There's so much overhead,
a ton of inventory right now.
Yes,
and they're willing to give some serious concessions.
Right. Yeah.
Right now.
Well, they saw the magic number was sub 6%. And so a lot of builders were actually paying for the rate to buy down on the rate.
Yeah.
But sub 6. Well,
Who were we talking the other day? And it was $40,000 in concessions.
D.R. Horton, I believe, offered that.
Yeah, or Edge. One of the two.
Well, probably both.
Or both.
Well, when you're carrying that kind of an inventory, you got to get it. You got to
move it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, guys, reach out to us and chat with us. It doesn't hurt to have a consultation and figure out if now is good for you or not.
Right. We want to be a help. So, if it's in your head, let's just talk. Let's get going.
Yeah. I say yay, yay.
Yay, yay.
Okay, buddy, we had our mixer last night.
Yes.
Another successful, great, all you people
ugly
out there that come had the ugly sweater. I had Santa Claus peeing on Frosty with a bunch of lights.
Right.
Man, that thing was hot.
It looked hot, dude.
Ugh. So anyways, thank you everybody for coming out and supporting our cause. I've got a bunch of food in my truck that I'm going to run down to the food bank and no, it was total success. Brendan was there. He was on our show last week, and this is what I'm going to tell you something really quick.
This is what it's all about.
This is what it's all about, guys. Brendan has come up with a system. If you didn't watch our last episode, I highly recommend you jump on and watch it from last week, episode 36. This guy is just such a stud. But he's come up with making a major impact in veterans' lives that have this PTSD, and they do it with a VR goggle system that they basically go in and play a game. And I don't know all the medical or what's going on the inside of that.
Re-stimulates trauma centers.
But man, anyways, last night I was sitting there as I was sitting with you. A guy that I knew showed up. Was a friend with a friend.
Yeah.
Started talking to him, invited him and all his buddies to come over and hang out with us. And I was telling him, I didn't realize he was a veteran, but in the conversation, he explained that he had just been to one of his sessions with his therapist.
Across the street.
The street. That's why he walked into the Ice House.
Yeah.
And come to find out, just sitting there talking with him and his buddies, that this guy has some serious PTSD. I mean, he did 2 tours in Iraq.
Yeah.
And then Brendan showed up.
Oh, man.
Because I was telling him about Brendan and saying, dude, I promise you I will hook you up with this guy. So when Brendan showed up, I actually walked him right over and introduced the two, and they just started talking, and you know, I let them have their moment. And that's why I do this.
Yep.
Is for that.
Well, and you guys, I've had a couple friends kind of tease me because there's a lot of our real estate friends and mortgage and title friends come.
Of course they do.
It's about networking.
It is.
It's about socializing.
Guys, there's no competition here. We want agent participation. Bring your people to our things.
We do this monthly. We have a great crowd. It's growing all the time.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan found his financing through our
$5 million.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about, guys. For me, is I'm a social butterfly. My wife gives me crap all the time about my social butterfly wings.
This is an excuse for you to throw a birthday party.
But it's just,
it's awesome.
I love people. I love hanging out, and it gives a platform where I can meet a bunch of new people, and on top of that, I can have my people meet people.
Yep. Agreed.
So if you're not on the list and you're not getting the invites, again, direct message us and just say, hey, I want to be on the invite.
Guys, it's the second Thursday of every month. It starts at 5, doesn't go late. It's
we just go to whenever. Evening. I think I got home last night about 10.
Yeah. And it's easy. You can pop on through, but it's always tied to a great charity. We'd love to see you come out. We want anybody and everybody who just needs a tribe or a crowd, come hang out with us.
And we're starting to do raffles at all of them. I mean, we gave away some really cool gifts last night. So
that's fun, man.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's what it's all about, baby.
That's what it's all about.
All righty, dude. We're 38 minutes in. I think we've been yakking along.
We've been running over lately, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, we got a lot to say.
That's right.
All right, people. Well, I really, really appreciate you hanging out with us for a few minutes this morning. And please, if you haven't done it, go to our YouTube channel, Beards on the Street Podcast, and subscribe.
And you
can do it.
One last little plug. If you've thought about this transition, making a move, just visiting with us, we can talk to you about your current equity position in your place, what it's going to take to buy a place if you haven't. Let's just have the conversations. It's not going to hurt anything to talk to us about it.
Plus, we'll set you up on our neighborhood news where once a month you get a report of the condition of real estate in your neighborhood. Who wouldn't want that?
Right. Updates on any activity that's specific to your neighborhood.
Yeah, buddy.
Yep.
All right, people. Well, thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you remotely. I'll see you remotely.
Right.
Next Friday. From Mexico.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Okay. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
See ya.